Hey there guys, it's Joey and this is going to be the crystal video for Protection mini-series. So in front of you, you have a crystal grid of my own design and I have yet to set it up, but I thought we would talk about the components and why I've chosen those certain crystals for this time round, I guess, for this particular protection grid, and then we're going to talk about some alternatives. Different crystals that you could use if you so wished. So at the very centre is my labradorite generator point, which I absolutely love, and labradorite makes up the main component of this grid. The four little crystals here and the four here are all labradorite. So labradorite is a highly mystical and protective stone. It raises consciousness and connects with the universal energies. So in terms of protection, you are sort of forewarned. It deflects unwanted energies from the aura. So we're setting up a personal protection crystal grid. It banishes fear. So if you're afraid of a situation, it can help protect against that. It helps to also banish psychic debris from previous disappointments. It strengthens faith in the self. It removes other people's projections, including thought forms that may have hooked into the aura. It's incredibly positive. I was reading that labradorite is so sort of rejective of negative energies that it can't be used in negative working at all. So it's a crystal that right now is following me around. I love it. It's tapping into the mystical for me. It really is something else. And so because of this, it forms up the basis of, you can see me moving my stick in the reflection. It forms up the basis of my crystal grid, my choice of crystals for my crystal grid. And secondly, we have obsidian. So we have 4 raw pieces of obsidian here, and then obsidian making the outer ring. So black obsidian is a very protective stone, and the black crystals tend to be really heavily protective. However, obsidian energies, some people really cannot get on with them because they are just intense, I think is the right way of putting it. It's a very powerful stone. It repels all negativity and disperses unloving thoughts. It facilitates the release of old loves and provides support during change. It also has the gift of prophecy. It can also bring things to the front and then release them. So in terms of a protection grid, it's sort of bringing all your fears to your attention so that you can release them. So it's protective, but it's also about being realistic. So it's like if you're being paranoid about something which isn't what you need protection from, then obsidian is going to help you to be aware of that. And then we have 4 pieces of tourmalinated quartz here, here, here and here. And that is to combine the energies of black tourmaline and clear quartz. Clear quartz being the amplifier to amplify up all of the energies surrounding it, and tourmaline helps you to ground yourself, to be protected and grounded and centered. This crystal grid would be fantastic as well if you were working with a crystal grid for protection in psychic work, in divinational work, in shamanic journeying, in dream working, and you wanted a level of psychic awareness and raised consciousness, but you wanted to be protected from outside influences that may affect what you were doing. And for anybody who has any psychic abilities, empathic abilities, or witchy abilities, this could be a lovely grid to use. It's not fully tweaked yet. I have to just move things around and tweak them a little bit until I'm overly Virgoified, satisfied with it, and connect it up. And I'm going to be using the terminated quartz points, double terminated points, that I received some time ago. Right, so this is quite an intense crystal grid because of the obsidian and because of the labradorite. It's quite an intense crystal grid, and I enjoy it that way, but then I work with the Morrigan, and once you work with the Morrigan on a daily basis, any other energies are never as intense as she is. So for me it works well. I like the strong oomph. I like the straight lines of this grid for the sort of protective barriers, setting those protective personal boundaries that we talked about. So what else could you use? Well, if you wanted to use an obsidian and you didn't want to use black obsidian, you could use snowflake obsidian. It's a sort of gentler energy, in my opinion, and it helps you to balance yourself more so. If you were looking for a stabilizing protection, so perhaps you want protection from uncertainty and feeling disheartened, and a situation has been leaving you troubled and unsettled and you can't get a handle on it, then a good crystal for that might be carnelian. And a red and black crystal grid would be beautiful for protection and for the Morrigan, as it happens. I think I've done one before using rhodonite that I showed on camera. Another crystal which is absolutely fantastic for protection and just has an energy that is completely and utterly unique is turquoise. I hope you can see this quite light all of a sudden. I'm not sure why it's so light all of a sudden. Right, so let's read the meanings from the book. It's a purification stone. It dispels negative energy, balances and aligns all chakras. It strengthens, instills inner calm, excellent for exhaustion, depression, panic attacks. It's known as a crystal of warriors, shaman and kings, I believe. And so not only does it sort of balance you out, but it's a highly protective crystal as well. So turquoise is a really nice one if you didn't want to work within sort of the realms of black crystals, if black crystals were a little bit overpowering. Amethyst is a good crystal for protection too. You could even use a crystal point of amethyst within a grid. So there's my crystal point of amethyst. Amethyst is connecting you to spirit through the crown chakra as well. So if you wanted a version of this where you were connected to the psychic awareness, so you were aware of any negativity coming your way, but this grid was a little bit intense, you could use an amethyst. That would work really, really well. And let's see. What else would I really recommend? Ah, right, yeah. One more. One more that I would really recommend is Tiger's Eye. And this is the Golden Tiger Eye. You can get blue and red as well, of course. Now, Tiger's Eye is one I could sort of refer to as being like a shield energy. It really has that sort of slamming a shield down in front of you. It works on your courage and your ability to sort of fight back a little bit as well. I wonder what the book says, just out of interest. Gold Tiger's Eye is attention to detail, taking action. Red Tiger's Eye helps overcome lethargy. Blue releases stress. So you could sort of pick which colour you wanted depending on that. Tiger's Eye is protective, particularly against ill wishing and curses. As well as criticism and blockages. So there you go. That's some different crystals that you could choose to work with. I decided to go with crystals first for sort of the show and discuss element of the protection thing, because crystals are something which I really enjoy working with on many levels. So that's why we've got that first. Many blessings.